Yokoso Otakus! I'm back from the dead. As it seems, I'm not actually back from the dead. We went to con. We had a lot of fun at con until I lost all my data. My life turned into complete ruins. So today, I put a little vote up in the Discord, and everyone said that we should play Process of Elimination, a new game that I received from NIS America for review purposes. Normally, when the embargo breaks, I go and what am I trying to say? When the embargo breaks, I post a review, and I didn't this time with this one, and there's a dang good reason why. So I love this game so far from what I played. I have not beat it yet. And normally I will do like a first impressions when I have started playing a game but haven't beat it. However, in this particular scenario, I want to digest this full game before I make a review, or even say first impressions, for a number of reasons. So we're going to go through the first beginning part of this game today. I don't know how long I will play for. I like to do 2-hour streams. However, this is a visual novel. I'm going to be talking a lot, and it's all in Japanese, so I have to read everything to you, and it might take me a little bit. Welcome in, Marcelo. I'm going to talk about some other stuff, but I don't think it will. Let's just jump in. Let's play the game. Murder mystery, and there is detective elements in it. I don't know if we'll even get to the detective elements today. It is a lot of text. It is a lot of visual noveling. It is It is an incredible story. I really enjoy it thoroughly. And it's a really good ride. If you guys like Danganronpa, if you like 999, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, there are just a lot of different games that are like this. They are primarily visual novel focused, and they have some other stuff. Lev says, "What's up, man?" Welcome in, Lev. It's great to see you, man. It's really, really good to see you. Con was fantastic. I lost almost all of my footage because I had an SD card failure, including my interview with Richard Epcar. I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I'm kind of waiting to see how this works. I have paid a company local to me. Let's see if you guys can even hear me. Can you guys hear me? Maybe I'll turn that down just a tiny skosh. Yeah, so the card that failed had almost the entire 120 gigabytes recorded on, and the one that was left just had the closing ceremonies and some very small like B-roll stuff. So I'm waiting to hear back from the company about that. I paid them to assess it, and within a week they're going to tell me what the damage is. It's kind of an interesting process. I guess they're going to like cut the side of the SD card open and like stick little things in there, I guess, and connect directly to the memory chips and try to pull data off of it, I suppose, or see what's on there. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm hoping to get that back, because the Richard Epcar interview was something that was pretty near and dear to us, and we got to spend quite a bit of time with Richard and his wife during the convention. They're very kind people. With that, though, let's jump into the game. It's good, and the beginning's great. A rainy day in June, with clouds covering the entire nation, the live broadcast of a new gaming release is suddenly disrupted. Flashing warning, by the way. I should have told people that. My bad. Pardon me, but I'm conducting a quick survey. On one side, a recent grad. On the other, a total shut-in. Who do you despise more? Anybody want to throw out their vote? Who do you despise more? Which should I pick? Should I pick a recent graduate, or should I pick a total shut-in? Who is despised the most? First person that says it will get their choice. And let me know if you need any changes to the audio. It's been a bit since we've streamed. These little doll things are super creepy to me. Very creepy. So left or right? Oh man, the music got creepy. Left. All right, we're going to go for the left, the graduate. Thank you for your response. Now, without any further ado, this loathsome grad shall disappear before your very eyes. This individual is hereby condemned to the fate of a quartered doll. Entertainment. Hello, dear consumers, and adieu to the consumed. How did it feel dismembering the rival with the simple press of a button? Quite good, no? Downright refreshing, even? It's best to eliminate those who don't share your values. Majority rules, after all. Whatever bloke thought that up was truly a sadistic genius. The opposition may be trampled, but there exists no better system. The path to peace must be painted by the blood of the minority. Those behind this policy, the eminent among the many, give less thought to the few than they would to an ant. I must hand it to them. It's simply ruthless. Oh, and don't look at me like that. It was a joke, a joke. I wouldn't want to get canceled on social media over this. Ah, goodness, this won't do. No, no, no. I've neglected to introduce myself. So sorry. I am His Grace, or is it Your Grace? Let's say Your Grace, the quartering Duke, an entertainer come to bring amusement to your world. From now on, every soul in this nation will be provided with entertainment to stir the mind, so please indulge until you're full to bursting. Should you object to Your Grace's choice of recreation, you are invited to try and reveal His true nature. Such a show can't exist without diversity, you see, for this is a clash between tragic, savage carnage and the comical, cultural stylings of justice. Oh, we currently have about 5,000 viewers. Then, for tonight's final act, a question from Your Grace to all our viewers at home. The individual within the animal suit became a shut-in after experiencing vicious bullying at school. No love for his mother, who raised him alone. Every day he would hit and yell at her. Before long, she fell ill and died without his noticing. This individual was saved by your first impression. With that, I ask, do you still like him? Should over half the viewers say so? I'll release him. Do we like him or do we hate him? Let me know in the chat. Do you like him or do you hate him? Doesn't sound all that great, does he? But that's up to you. We already saw what happens when we chose the last person. But that's all on Lev. I'll wait just a tiny bit more. I don't remember what my first choices were. I'm not going to lie. I actually think that I went with the grad. I think I went with the grad and then... I think I said I like him because I was worried about killing this one. But I'm going to let you guys pick. First person that says you like or hate him will win. All right, I'm just going to choose. I'm curious. I want to see what happens if we say we hate him. What's going to happen? Seems not even 500 people liked him. A shame. Nothing short of a tragedy. Truly, the sorrow is too much to bear. However, the quartering Duke snaps his fingers. That is what makes this the very finest entertainment. Alas, it will soon be time to part ways. As for myself, your Duke that is, I am the enemy of those who mindlessly consume, and a friend of those consumed. Thus, I take my leave. Do enjoy the show. This is savage. The video cuts off at 4 minutes 52 seconds. As a hacked broadcast, those who ran the website were powerless to stop it. The video, just shy of 5 minutes, is shared across the net, mostly amongst the youth. But things don't end with that. Not just the broadcasted victims, but others killed in the same manner are soon discovered. The common thread: at least 2 victims are always found at once, with their lock screens set to the symbol of the quartering duke. The police pour all of their resources into investigating the case, but turn up nothing. Pair by pair, more and more bodies surface, until half a year later, over 100 have been killed since that first broadcast. The sheer number of victims and brutality of the murders fling society into chaos. The quartering duke, an entertainer? What he's doing is basically a snuff show. I grip my phone tight as I read articles about the murderers, speaking aloud despite myself. I've seen the effects of this duke all around me. People are terrified to go outside, and stores have even shortened their hours. What's worse, he's gained some traction among young copycats taken by his charisma. With the police overwhelmed, small private agencies like mine are in huge demand. Apparently, even the FBI is getting involved. Past events had already stoked the need for this line of work, but the Duke has only made things worse. The media jeers at the detective craze. Mr. Gunjoji says the ideal society is a peaceful one where detectives are starved for work. You may be right about that. As I lay in wait for my mark, I recall my mentor's words and sigh to myself. I work for the Gunjoji detective agency. It's probably one of the punnier agencies around, though nowadays we're buzzing with activity. I'm a student working part-time, but they plan to recruit me once I've graduated. The situation must be getting pretty serious nationwide. An ideal society has no use for detectives, huh? The thought alone makes me a bit miserable. Is this the reality faced by all aspiring detectives? Okay, that's enough of that. My worries run wild when I'm on my own. It's a bad habit, but I've got to focus on work. There he is. My mark is on the move. After a moment's pause, the man clad in a trench coat starts off down the road again. I make sure I'm out of earshot before calling in my report, just as my mentor had instructed. Watto here. The target is on the move. He's headed right where you predicted, Mr. Gunjoji. I'll stay on the lookout for any traps as I continue tailing him. Quieting my steps, I follow the man cautiously. He's our top suspect in the serial pet killer case. And according to Mr. Gunjoji, he may be armed. Whatever I do, I absolutely cannot allow my presence to be detected. Can I help you? So much for that. What? Suddenly, the man is right in front of me, and I reflexively take a step back. Did he notice me following him, despite the cover of darkness and my voice being out of earshot? Huh? Oh, no, I'm all good. I'm, actually running late for cram school, so gotta go. As I try to move past him, the man blocks my path. I think we can turn a bit. Sorry, guys. Give me just a second here. I don't want to turn it up too much because when the voice actors speak, it's going to kind of be weird, but I would like it a little louder. I doubt you'll make it in time if you keep matching my pace and stopping every time I do. That seems pretty. Tisk, your expression gives everything away, -1 point. Not that you should really be that surprised. You would only stop on a completely empty street like this if you were tailing someone. That, or checking if someone's tailing you. So the very act of pausing here was a trap. Ugh. How could I make such a rookie mistake? It didn't even register with me. I have no one to blame but myself. You're a fresh face. Who are you? Certainly no detective or policeman, given your noisy, slipshod attempt at shadowing me. No detective? Blood rushes to my face. I poured everything into becoming a detective. His words sting worse than a slap to the face. There's no way I can just let it slide. Don't patronize me. I'm Wado Hojo, assistant to the Genjoji Detective Agency. We already know you've been snooping around here and that you have a knife. You're suspected of severe animal abuse. Now come quietly. I'm turning you into police. I'd hoped the edge in my voice would intimidate him, but the man only lets out an exasperated Actually giving out your name? -3 points. This isn't some TV show, kid. Real detectives never reveal their true identities. I bet you can't get enough of those over-the-top crime dramas, can you? As much as I hate it, he's read me like a completely open book. The moment a detective reveals himself always seems so cool on television. But he's right. Sharing your identity in this line of work is far too dangerous. Something to keep in mind next time. And does the detective's assistant plan to arrest me all on his own? A grown man you fully believe to be armed? The man slides his hand into his pocket and readies his stance. He's clearly holding a weapon. This isn't the first time I've gone up against someone armed with a knife, but I still feel my hair standing on end. My heart slams frantically against my ribcage as I freeze up, willing my trembling legs to remain steady. No, I know I'm not ready for that. So instead, I called for backup. I just need to buy my time until my boss arrives. You think you can buy yourself time, Mr. Wannabe Detective? I will. In fact, I have to. One of the pets you killed belonged to a classmate of mine. She's still terrified and traumatized as a result of your prowling about. Being a detective, it's my duty to stop you. Bringing you to justice is the only way to restore the peace in her life. I'll be damned if I let you escape. I tear off my jacket and wrap it around my left wrist to form a makeshift glove, a guard against his knife. In my dominant hand, I grip a pair of handcuffs like brass knuckles. Armed as best as I can, I face off with the man. The man just watches me, showing no signs of movement. Good. He's probably never seen anyone use handcuffs for self-defense before. It's only natural he'd be wary. I learned this trick from Mr. Genjoji. What's great about it is that it never fails to catch people by surprise the first time. I need to stall this out, even if it's just for a little while. Keeping this face-off going is my top priority. The Yakuza School of Arrest Techniques, I take it. Quite the rare fighting style picked up, boy. Huh? I'm struck speechless. What are the odds he'd know this tactic? I fumble for an answer, but my mind goes blank. Oops. Paralyzed in the face of an enemy, -5 points. Don't expect odd techniques to phase a man of my age. It would work on your typical criminal, however, and you were quick to adapt when all odds were stacked against you. That's an exemplary quality in a detective. You get 10 points, kid. I see why the chief endorsed you. The man suddenly backs down and speaks with a smile. Wait, what? Is this another trap? Glancing my way, he continues. Sorry for the misunderstanding, but the culprit you've been looking for is the victim's neighbor. I've already handed him over to the police. No job, no comfort, no direction in life, until he became obsessed with the quartering duke and decided to follow in his footsteps. He couldn't work up the nerve to hack people apart, but animals gave him no trouble at all. Disgusting. Well, who are you exactly? Upon hearing my question, the man pulls what looks to be a tablet out of his pocket. The screen shows a familiar symbol and the words Detective Alliance. The Detective Alliance? I can't help but yell out the name. The Detective Alliance, the very organization I revere more than anything else. That's right, I'm part of the Detective Alliance, the only government-recognized detective organization in the country. I'm sure an aspiring detective like yourself has heard of it. Yo, of course, it's a mysterious coalition of 100 renowned detectives that always sends the perfect match for the job. The Alliance has solved every case it's ever had, and each of its members has an alias based on their defining traits. Huh. Looks like you know quite a bit about this mysterious coalition, detective fanboy. As I calm down, my face begins to burn bright red. I had to let my excitement carry me away on a totally nerdy rant. Still, the Detective Alliance has been the dream I've aspired to ever since I learned about it from Mr. Genjoji. That D-pad you're holding is a hallmark of none other than the Alliance itself. You really are a detective, aren't you? Bingo. Call me Senior Detective. Been in the Alliance for eons, though these days I mostly scout recruits and provide support. Still, none of the younger generation can out-investigate me, especially with cases as cold as that pet killer one. As prideful as he sounds, I can tell by his expression that he's speaking purely from well-earned experience. He has an air about him that's unlike anyone I've ever met, the kind that could only come from a member of the Detective Alliance. As secretive as it is, the Detective Alliance has grown more famous by the day thanks to the recent detective craze. Even now, the news is full of stories about the cases cracked by Detective Alliance members. Then there's all the terrorist plots in the wake of the Quartering Dukes incidents that they've thwarted with almost zero leads. The whole reason I joined a detective agency was to carve a path to earning a spot alongside those detectives one day. Looked up to by detectives far and wide, the Detective Alliance is the absolute paragon for those pursuing justice. I apologize for my rudeness, Senior Detective Sir, shouting accusations at you when I couldn't be more clueless. Don't be. I was egging you on after all. No need for the sir either. In our field, the alias itself serves as a title of respect. Though Senior Detective amicably shrugs off my apology, his unshakable calm only makes me warier of where this is going. Is that from the cat box? Yeah, she's in her bedroom. Then, as if noticing how on edge I look, he continues to speak. I'll cut to the chase. I'm here to scout you. We plan to meet at our base of operations to discuss how to handle the Quartering Duke incidents, and we want you to attend. Huh? I respond lamely, unable to fully grasp what he's saying. I'll say it again. We want you to join our investigation of the Quartering Duke case as a member of the Detective Alliance. What? The sound I make is so shrill and alien I scare even myself. I pinch my cheek to make sure this isn't just some dream. Ow! Nope, not a dream. Maybe this is Mr. Genjoji's idea of a prank? No sign of him anywhere, so probably not. Which means this isn't a joke, right? Not at all. We've received direct orders from the government to put an end to the Quartering Duke's reign of terror. A chosen few detectives will convene at HQ to solve this case and take down the most vile, homicidal maniac of the century. My mind goes blank again, but if this is real, then my dream is coming true far sooner than I ever imagined. There is so much I could learn. So many accomplished detectives I could meet. Ideal detectives, like the one I aspire to be, the kind who could have prevented the tragedy that unfolded before my eyes 10 years ago. I'm sure you have a million questions, but I want to hear what you intend first. Will you join us at the table and help us stop the Quartering Duke? Give me your answer, yes or no. How can I hesitate? I state my intentions loud and clear. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! JoJo reference. The moment I try to answer, Senior Detective's arms hook around my neck and begin to squeeze like a vice. It's so tight I can't breathe. I flail and kick frantically, but all I hit is the air and the ground below my feet. I feel a prick as a slender needle pierces the skin of my neck. What feels like liquid ice begins to pump through my veins. My skin turns pale, my limbs go numb, and my strength fades. My vision blurs, and as my legs start to give out, I sag against the man restraining me. And then, as if the stars have been swept from the night sky, everything goes black. While it's true that I asked, there was never actually the option to refuse. For you see, you have the duty to attend the Detective Elimination Project. Process of... We're gonna keep going, obviously. I want to thank everyone for coming in today, too, and all those thumbs up. It does help us a lot, and it's awesome. I haven't felt this way in a long time. My consciousness drags sluggishly as if I'm trapped in thick mud, helplessly sinking deeper and deeper. As much as I try to shut it out, that traumatic nightmare pulls me in once again. In my dream, I'm running down a dark, frigid corridor, holding on tight to the hand of a girl my age. Watto, I can't run anymore. You need to go on without me. You have to escape. Wait, what are you saying, Saika? We're getting out of here together. I made a promise, didn't I? But my legs. The girl is beautiful, with bewitching black hair, pure white skin, and light purple eyes reminiscent of hydrangeas. I remember nothing else about her, but I'm sure that at the time she was very precious to me. And then, right before my eyes, a blade swings down and slashes her, covering her in a burst of red. Saika, what? Why? I clutch onto her before she can collapse and face the criminal that did this to her. The massive, unmistakable, inhuman silhouette emits a strange, mechanical whir. Its murderous intent is nearly enough to pierce through flesh as it focuses on me. I prepare to die as no more than a child. But, at that moment... Go, Watto. The girl in my arms strains to get the words out as her voice begins to fail. I might escape if I leave her now and run. But maybe I can still save her. There's no way I can just abandon her. You have to live. Become the hero who will save everyone. So, I just want to take a moment to say, some of this stuff seems corny. Wait it out. This is a really well-written game, in my opinion. No? No! That's all I can remember. My memory cuts out completely, as if the next page has been torn out. However, since I'm alive, it's obvious what came after. I traded Saika's life to save my own. This was the mass kidnapping and confinement incident I was in a decade ago, the reason I became a detective. A shadowy organization took 16 children and locked them in an underground prison for a month, never to be caught. Am I supposed to just live with the sacrifice that came out of that, like Saika? I was too incompetent to save even one girl, but I refused to leave it there. My heart and soul demand I see it through. I will become a great detective, a hero, and one day I'll reveal the truth behind what happened 10 years ago. I finally come to. My eyelids are so heavy just opening them is an undertaking. That was one long dream. It was one I've had countless times before. Of that fateful day, I swore I'd become a detective. That incident remains unsolved to this day. What really happened all those years ago? As a survivor, the vague testimony I provided didn't help much. The case has gone cold for 10 years now. I've got to find the truth. To track down the villain who killed Saika, the girl I owe my life to. That's why I entered this line of work. But that aside, my whole body is aching right now. My mattress feels like a rock and smells like rust? I managed to pry my eyes open, but everything's pitch black. What's more, I can't even move. My limbs are restrained like I've been wrapped in some kind of sleeping bag. Don't tell me I'm trapped in here! What's going on? Mustering all my strength, I try to worm my way out. Suddenly, my vision is flooded by a bright light. Huh? Whatever restrained me slackens as my own momentum forces me upright. The sight I'm met with is... a forest? And that sound? Those ocean waves? Lush woodland lies before my eyes. Beneath me is an old, rusty locker. Guess that's what I'd been stuffed in just a second ago. My whole body's killing me. How long was I crammed inside this thing? Who would do this to me and why? When did I even get here? What the heck is going on? My head swirls in confusion as I try to recall what happened last. That's right, I met that old man, senior detective, and then... The haziness clears as I begin to remember. I was suddenly attacked by senior detective and eventually lost consciousness. He claimed to be part of the Detective Alliance. Maybe that was just a bluff. Wait, if he was lying about being part of the DA, that means the pet killer is still at large. I gotta get back, ASAP! I reach out to grab my smartphone, but after a frantic search, I realize that my front pockets have been emptied. As I continue searching my person, I notice an unfamiliar weight in my back pocket. Weird, I don't normally keep stuff back there. Suspicious, I carefully pluck the foreign object from my pocket. It's a tablet device, like an oversized smartphone, more or less. The moment I see it, though, a chill runs down my spine. No way, is this... I lift it up, touching the buttons out of habit. Then a notification appears. Authentication successful. Ohio, Wato Hojo. Seems you've got your D-pad working, Sure, you were drugged, but sakes alive, boy. Out cold for 3 days straight. -1 point. As the tablet comes to life, a familiar voice emanates from its speaker. This is Senior Detective, the agent who brought you here. We met 3 days ago, though to you, I suppose it'd feel like it only just happened. Wait, I was out for 3 days? So, Senior Detective's the one reaching out to me. I knew I'd recognized his voice from before. Still, his tone is pretty nonchalant for a kidnapper. I can't help but feel irritated. While I'm certain you think I deceived you, you are in fact the newest member of the Detective Alliance. If you doubt me, view the detective roster on your D-pad. That electronic device you know is a trademark of the Alliance. As an official member of the Alliance, your personal information should already be recorded in the database. I open up the tablet and look through the roster he mentioned. There, I find my profile, beginning with my full legal name. Wato Hojo, detective rank number 100. Yep, that's me. It even lists details only Mr. Gunjoji would know, like my skills and my work experience. Ouch. My special skill is housework? I'm no great detective, sure, but that's a low blow. I wonder what else is on here. It lists other detectives' ranks and aliases too? Not to mention intel and investigation statuses on recent atrocities. From the latest incidents all the way back to before I was born, it's a robust selection of key documents about cases infamous to the public. Far too much for one person to read, frankly. Even at a glance, most of the content seems to be highly technical in nature. This is way too much effort for a prank. Meaning the DA really did recruit me? Can I trust what Senior Detective says? So I've actually been recruited by the Detective Alliance? This isn't a joke, right, Senior Detective? Sir? You're listening to a recording at present. An emergency came up, so I've hidden you in the woods while I go to address it. Ah, so that's how it is. I assume this was a phone call, but I guess that's not the case. The device settings must have been configured to play this voice message as soon as it finished authenticating. When you're ready, open the map on your D-pad. Then make your way through the woods and head for the manor at the peak. Once there, you should soon meet the others. Promise to head over myself once I'm able. But just wait for me in front of the manor. And one last thing. Do not, under any circumstance, enter the structure you'll see along the way. Unauthorized entry will result in far worse than a subtraction of points. Follow my orders like your very life depends on it. Senior Detective speaks without pause. The moment he's finished, the sound cuts out abruptly. I stand there in a daze, holding the tablet, my new D-pad, in one hand. I lift my head and peer through the tree line, making out the shape of a mountain, with an imposing manor resting on its summit. That the building Senior Detective was referring to? While I don't fully trust him, my options are limited. Pressed for choice, I open the map application on my tablet. Various graphics appear on the screen, displaying the surrounding area. All that blue surrounding everything must be the ocean, which means I've been taken to a remote island. Morgue? Is that the name of this place? Never heard of it. Could I be in a foreign country or something? Either way, getting all gloomy won't solve things. I use my fingers to zoom in on the map, hoping to find more info to go off of. The screen then displays my current location and a few details about the vicinity. Just as Senior Detective said, there seems to be some sort of manor atop the peak, plus another structure near the tree line. Without any other clues to guide me, I decide to follow Senior Detective's instructions for now. Oh, I need to register my detective alias on here, but I don't have any talents, and I definitely regret putting something random. Nope, I got nothing. The tablet hums quietly as I trek on. Before long, I see a parting in the trees. A massive heliport stretches before me. To its right sits a relatively small 3-story building. Though it blocks my line of sight, I assume that the manor is just up ahead at the top of the hill. This structure here must be the one Senior Detective warned me against entering. It's not like I really trust the guy, so I'm admittedly a bit curious to sneak a peek inside. But as soon as the thought crosses my mind, a sudden sense of unease washes over me. On my tablet's map, I see numerous circular icons displayed within the building's walls. And not just a handful either. Dozens of icons crowd around like ants swarming over food. Judging by my own marker on the map, I think these icons are all people? But if that's the case, what does this mean? My apprehension refuses to die down. I get the sense that going in there would only end in regret, just as Senior Detective had warned. I need to decide my next step carefully. I will ignore it and head into the manor, or enter the building. No doubt about it, I've got to check this building out first. It'd be risky just to blindly trust Senior Detective after all. These circular icons are obviously people, which would indicate others are already in there. Makes a lot of sense to meet with them here instead of wandering around on my own. Senior Detective must be trying to prevent me from joining up with anyone else. That's gotta be it. I speak aloud, desperately trying to calm my frantic heartbeat. With great trepidation, I slowly approach the entrance. A dark shadow is faintly visible from the glass door of the building. Just as I had suspected, there are other people here. Without a moment of hesitation, I push the glass door open and rush inside. Hello, I'm the new member of the Detective Alliance, and... My voice hitches, and my eyes widen like saucers as my train of thought comes to a grinding halt. All from the shock of seeing the horrific scene that lay before me. A large mound rests in the open space beyond the entryway, a haphazard pile, blackened and dead, reeking of rotten cheese and fetid garbage. Convincing myself that it's fake, I draw closer. Then, I lock eyes with one, its cloudy gaze a stark reminder of our shared mortality. It's heartbreakingly clear this corpse once belonged to a living being. Ugh. My stomach lurches, its contents spilling from my mouth. I can't take it. Sinking to my knees, I suck in heavy breaths as my heart hammers so hard it threatens to burst. Senior Detective must have known. Regret fills me for not heeding his warning. I want to run, to break away and leave this place forever. I desperately focus all my energy into every lungful of air I take. But my pulse won't slow down. In fact, it keeps growing faster. My chest burns like it's on fire. No matter how hard I try to inhale, my chest only aches more and more until finally I can no longer breathe. What is happening? I can't. My instincts tell me I've got to get outside, but my limbs are numb from the lack of oxygen, heavy and useless, as if I'm deep underwater. I crawl, inching along like a caterpillar, but the exit is too far away. A feeling of doom overwhelms me as my strength ebbs away. I can't breathe. I need air. I can't take any more of this. Please, help me. Desperate, I try to scream, but can't muster a sound. The pain is agonizing. All thoughts leave my head. Despite knowing no one will save me, my mind still cries out. Help! Someone! Please, help! I can't breathe. It hurts. I need to get out. I don't want to die. Help! Somebody, please! Help me! Help me! Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. Something snaps. My vision fails. But at least the pain in my chest is finally gone. Game over! That's it. We lost. But it's okay. With a start, I see the heliport stretching before me once more. I take deep breaths, trying to calm myself. The air tastes good somehow. Not sure why, but I feel like I just woke up from a nightmare. Oh, right. I was deciding whether I should check out that building or head to the manor. Head to the peak? Or investigate the building? This could very well be a fateful fork in my path. Need to stay calm, think rationally, make the right choice here. So we already did this. So anyway, you can see when you make wrong choices, it like kind of resets you, and then you can see what one you answered before. So now we'll go to the manor. I just wanted to show you guys that. I was trying not to be a spoiler about it. I knew it was going to happen. I decided to do what the senior detective suggested and make my way toward the manor at the peak of the mountain. My mentor always chided me for being so rash. Maybe I wouldn't have been abducted if I had just waited for him like I was supposed to. What's more, I get this deep feeling of dread whenever I look at that building to the right of the heliport. I should follow Senior Detective's advice, especially considering that he must have a better way, or must have a better grasp of the situation than me. What is this place really? This island? I make my way up the mountain, quietly grumbling to myself, when suddenly a chill runs down my spine. I quickly turn and look behind me, but the only thing in sight is that building. I get the strange feeling that going there would have had irrevocable... God, why is it so hard to say this word right now? Irrevocable consequences for me. My uneasiness lingers, but I turn my back and keep going in spite of it. I don't know how much longer I have to read. This always kind of strains my voice to try to do these visual novels. I do want to get into the detective stuff before we end, though, so hopefully we can do that. I continue up the twisting mountain path for about 15 minutes until at last I arrive at the manor door. There's a gentle incline, but I'm still spent. I wearily take a seat, resting my back against the outside wall of the manor. It's the exact kind of setting you'd expect in any mystery novel. The manor's exterior speaks to its age and smells faintly of lumber. During my approach, I can only gasp at the structure's imposing beauty. Upon closer inspection, I notice its windows are constructed from an unnaturally thick glass, impossible to break or to peek through. I stand up and circle the perimeter, but there don't appear to be any points of entry aside from the front door. If anything, it seems like it was built to house prisoners, residents. This definitely isn't your average manor. What on earth could be waiting within? I slow down and catch my breath. My hand is damp with sweat as I turn the knob of the manor's only entrance. A loud clank rings out as it swings open with ease. The interior seems normal enough. Am I just overthinking things? I ask weakly as I take a step inside. As soon as I let go of the knob, the door closes on its own. Not one moment later... Huh? A sharp pain suddenly erupts in my head, causing me to stagger involuntarily. A shadow at my feet expands rapidly. My spine tingles as I feel something rush quickly towards me. Even without a moment of hesitation, I kick out and leap to the side. However, something slams hard against the back of my skull. The impact sends me flying. My vision swims, my mind already fading. I find myself unable to stand. Then, the world fades to white. Dude has a heck of a run. The beginning of this game is like not a good day for this guy. Yo, guys, this chump ain't waking up. How about I kick him around a bit? Don't be so violent, Rowdy. I hear voices nearby. I totes side with Doleful here. Violence is so not cool. Why don't we just, like, dump a bucket of water on him instead? That idea is just as extreme downtown. Let's try and consider our options rationally. Mayhaps his vital organs are unresponsive. I shall administer a cardiac massage at once. No need for that. I think he's waking up. I open my eyes, but my vision is blurred. The dizzying pain in my head is unbearable. There's a constant ringing in my ears, and my body won't move an inch. A wave of nausea comes over me, but I manage to stop myself from groaning. What happened? I vaguely recall being hit by something the moment I stepped into the manor. At last, my vision finally clears up. Who are you people? When my eyes refocus, I'm met with several unfamiliar faces, and a sturdy rope binding me. I'm tied up, surrounded by a group of strangers. What in the world is going on? The lousy intruder! A girl in a sports jacket grabs me by the throat, glowering, menacing. She looks to be in her early teens, but her strength is incredible. I can't get a peep out while trapped in her iron grip. You got some stones jumping us on our home turf? Who you spying for, huh? Huh? Calm down, Rowdy Detective. The hell with that. This Jamoke might have offed some of our own. Plus, he won't even give us an answer. I ain't just gonna let that slide. Well, you can't talk if you're actively choking him now, can he? Huh? Oh, crap, you got a point, Techie Detective. Sorry, intruder, my bad. 100%. Girl in the sports jacket lets me go, then immediately falls to her knees, touching her head to the floor as she apologizes. It's okay, you don't need to grovel about it. I'm still in the dark here, but I get that you have every reason to suspect me. That checks out, but it don't make us right. One bad turn deserves another, so come on, hit me! No way am I gonna do that. Besides, I can't. I'm all tied up, so please stop bowing. I have literally no idea what's happening. Who are all of you? What is this island? What's going on around here? As I ask the so-called Rowdy Detective... my questions, the boy in the wheelchair approaches us. I take it you aren't here of your own volition? You say you aren't informed on the situation, right? Yeah, all I know is that Senior Detective brought me here. Senior Detective? The boy called Techie Detective cups his chin in thought. I checked your eyes to verify you were unconscious. We'll just assume it wasn't a self-induced ruse for now. But Senior Detective bringing you to HQ? That doesn't sit well with me. Where do you fit in with the rest of us? What do you have to do with the Quartering Duke investigation? Yo, Earth the Techie Detective. Ow! Oh, sorry, I was lost in thought. Rowdy Detective pokes Techie Detective, snapping him out of his trance. He dips his head in apology. I'm as confused as ever right now, but I have heard of these two detectives before. Does that mean that all of them are... Anyway, did we let the guy loose? Keep grilling him while he's all tied up, and people are gonna think we're into this kind of stuff. Oh, hold on, Downtown Detective. Huh, what? Ah, so sorry, it's just, we should wait a bit longer, I think. The trendy girl responds with indignation, causing the frail boy to tear up. Nevertheless, he doesn't back down. Our enemy wields a deadly poison that can kill over 20 people. If this is him, he could wipe us all out just by scattering a trace amount of it. Freeing him without at least a pat-down would be far too dangerous. Oh, yeah, I guess I got a little antsy there. My bad. Even though her idea got rejected, the trendy girl called Downtown Detective laughs as if nothing happened. Thanks, Dolphin Detective. No wonder you're number 4. Mad props. Nonsense, I was just paranoid still. I don't want any more victims like all those people in the research facility. If anything, we need to be overcautious. The somewhat androgynous youth speaks with a voice full of fear. Victims like those in a research facility? The comment catches my attention, but now isn't the time to be asking questions. Instead, I hold my tongue and continue to watch in silence. Fear not, Sir Doleful Detective. Even should his intentions prove nefarious, I, Armored Detective, swear to protect you. The armored man rests one hand on the youth he called Doleful Detective, and the other on Downtown Detective. Thanks, Armor. Physical exertion is a lot for me, so I appreciate it. Though the boy smiles at Armored Detective, Downtown Detective waves off the gauntlet, looking utterly repulsed. Yeah, nah, I'm good. You're like suffocating me. Would you back off, number 32? You were called my rank, despite mine being the only one here that is lower than 30. My heart is stirred. I swear on my life to protect you. Take a hint. How annoying can you get? Armored Detective happily strides closer to Downtown Detective. He doesn't seem to notice the look of genuine disgust on her face. Moving on, we should touch base with the chief on our D-pads. I keep trying to say iPad. We're lucky our device's signal allows us to communicate from the manor to the research facility. A man who looks like a corporate employee joins the conversation. He holds a familiar tablet-like device in his hands, the D-pad, the trademark of the Detective Alliance. My heart beats fast in spite of myself as I guess at the nature of my company. Thanks, Workaholic Detective. You're always so quick on your feet. Adulting 101. Plan. Do. Check. Act. As far as our Sleeping Beauty here, I got in touch with the chief. He is indeed a fellow member of the DA. To be safe, I'd like to confirm with you directly. This is no mistake, right? Right. No mistake about it. So, I only just got my D-pad. Honestly, I'm completely new to this. Everything clicks into place as I speak with the man referred to as Workaholic Detective. I knew it! They really are part of the Alliance. And these aren't just any average members. They're so famous, even a nobody like me knows of them. There could only be one possible reason why a group of detectives like this would be gathered here. It was the same thing I had been brought for, to discuss how to handle the quartering duke. They're all here for that meeting, no doubt. The only question that remains is, why would a new recruit who lacks even a proper alias be here at Detective Alliance HQ? Were you also invited to participate in our discussion regarding how to deal with the quartering duke? Yes, Senior Detective explained it to me. Oh, that's right. I have my own D-pad too. So the one in your shirt pocket really was yours. My apology. Took the liberty of searching you. What? When? I don't know how, but Workaholic Detective is clearly holding my device. The fact he could swipe it without my noticing is terrifying. Now then, if you would allow me to borrow your hand for just a moment. Workaholic Detective grabs my hand to bypass the D-pad's fingerprint authentication, navigating to the messages application with practiced ease. He seems to be checking my invitation to the Quartering Duke meeting, which I had been reading just before I fell unconscious. I see, it's the exact same message as the one I received. It appears you truly will be joining us. Relief washes through me at Workaholic Detective's smile, but it doesn't last long. That being said, anyone capable of infiltrating this island would have no trouble faking a simple email. Workaholic Detective's smile turns grim. His piercing gaze cuts right through me, making my body flare up with goosebumps. Toot, 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 toot. Making lousy knockoffs, huh? You're asking for a one-way ticket to hell, pal, courtesy of my fist. You don't give off that unique presence the rest of us detectives have. Just who are you? John, welcome in. How you doing? We lack sufficient data for any conclusions. For now, we have no choice but to keep him under surveillance until we can find out more. The other detectives watch me warily. Their eyes make it abundantly clear that they're on high alert. I completely understand why they suspect my exceptional circumstances. That doesn't make their looks sting any less. Doing good? That's great. Dwelling on doleful detectives' unsettling remarks earlier leads me to wonder what happened to the Detective Alliance. Look, being on edge won't help us at all, so why don't we just, I don't know, bring them along? We've still got to find Old Man Senior, so it's not like we have time to stand around arguing. Our minds are as one, Lady Downtown Detective. I fully concur. Let us treat him as a compatriot until more evidence appears. Our minds are miles apart, weirdo, but whatevs. I mean airhead, but I'm with Armor on this. I think it'd be chill to take him with. Besides, I know my mysterious stories. Splitting up would be like total suicide. Mystery stories, you say? Techie Detective smiles wryly as the rowdy detective grabs the rope tying me up. Yeah, Downtown's got the right idea. Rowdy Detective tears my restraints apart as if they're made of paper. I can now move freely, except for my bound hands. But still, what raw physical strength. It's hard to believe a girl smaller than me can be so powerful. Mistrust in each other is exactly what the Quartering Duke wants. But for now, I'll trust you too. We should ask before acting, but at least I do agree with the notion. My search didn't turn up anything suspicious. Until further notice, you'll be coming with us. Seeing as this is a race against the clock, I'll have to catch you up as we move along. Thank you. The detectives head out one after another. Now that the mood has lightened up a bit, I can't help but let out a sigh of relief. I've seen plenty of suspects get interrogated in mystery novels and shows. Never did I expect to be the one in the hot seat. Life sure keeps you on your toes. That reminds me. What should we call you, intruder? You don't have a detective alias yet, right? This is your chance to pick one. Well, my name is... I barely stopped myself from answering Downtown Detective with my real name. Keeping your name a secret is the first rule of the Detective Alliance. It could be as deadly for your identity to get out between cases. That's why, upon joining the DA, members are given a one-word code name based on defining characteristics of them. That code name is known as a detective alias. I long to have one of my own, ever since Mr. Ngoji told me about them. My detective alias is, despite my yearning for one, it's hard to think of anything on the spot. I have no experience, skills, or defining characteristics. To be perfectly honest, I couldn't even begin to guess why I was let into the Detective Alliance. What? Is it that hard? You're older than me. Shouldn't you just have more life experience? Like, seriously, dude, I can't even with you. I do like the writing in this game. They did a good job with the translations. Sorry, this is really embarrassing. Well, let's think of one together. What are your skills? Anything you're good at in all the cases you've been in so far? I'm good at finding cats. They like me. Downtown Detective gives a deep sigh. My amateur status fills me with shame. Alrighty then. How about we call you Incompetent Detective? What? Now that's just cruel. You might as well be saying I'm good for nothing. Oh, we had someone join the Discord. Welcome to the Discord, kid anime. Now that's just cruel. You might as well be saying I'm good for nothing. I mean, not that it isn't true, but still. I'd obviously prefer a different name, but before I can object... Hey everyone, until we think of something better... this here is Incompetent Detective, okay? Nice and humble. Fitting for a young gun itching to find his place in the world. I see, so it's a caricature of your traits in the same vein as doleful and workaholic. Right, you're one of us now, Incompetent. So mean. A name with which we can call upon your aid deepens our bonds. I am at your service, Sir Incompetent. Picking on the new guy takes me back. Incompetent Detective rapidly gains the approval of the rest. So rapidly that it's too late to dispute it, much to my chagrin. Oh, look how fast your new name caught on. I'm so happy for you, Incompetent. It doesn't make me happy at all. Despite my protest, Downtown Detective ignores me, flashing a devilish smile. Thus did I become Incompetent Detective, an official member of the Detective Alliance. Oh, we get some birthdays, that's cool. Thus did I become Incompetent Detective, an official member of the Detective Alliance. We actually have quite a bit more till the detective thing. I don't know. And I haven't voiced the issue. Oh, that was you, John. Well, welcome in. Welcome in. A bright red carpet covers the floor and landscape paintings adorn the walls of the corridor. The detectives explain the situation as we walk down the passageway, the scent of the roses on display around us drifting in the air.
君が連れてこられたこの場所は地図にすら載っていないことだ。この絶海のことを本拠地として This location to which you've been brought is an island that doesn't appear on any map. The DA's used it as a base of operations for years. It has two buildings, Snark's, a research facility for investigation support and gear development, and Gorman-Gas, manor for overnight stays. The original plan was for everyone to discuss the situation in the manor. We were to review dioramas of various quartering Duke cases. That was the plan? Rowdy detective suddenly punches the wall beside her, causing the other nearby walls to tremble from the impact. When we got here, a bunch of detectives from HQ had been snuffed out by poison. All 22 members at the research facility. Gone. All 22 of them? Every hair on my body stands on end at the unthinkable news. Even among history's more infamous mass murders, few had a death toll of more than 20. Killing 22 people at once is beyond all reason. The culprit piled their bodies at the facility's entrance as if they were naught but rubbish. Such savagery is no less than inhuman. Seeing that heap of corpses would have killed your appetite big time, Incompetent, and the poison gas filling the room would have killed you for real. Which is ironic. It did. Both those things happened to us. I was in the land of make-believe. Luckily you didn't go in there, huh? A heap of corpses, just imagining it makes me feel faint. And that's not even taking deadly gas into account. Maybe Senior Detective knew about that gruesome scene, so he sent me straight to the manor instead. That would also explain why he hid me in the forest and went off on his own. I need to find him soon and thank him for keeping me safe. It was another quartering Duke attack, right? We're not sure yet for how many deaths there were. The clues are awfully scarce. Quartering Duke cases always result in two concurrent victims. This crime would appear to have a different modus operandi. Ha! The quartering Duke did him in, no doubt. If I can catch that bastard skulking around the island, I'm a clean as clock. It's said that the quartering Duke has killed over 100 people, but even that was over the course of half a year. On the other hand, murdering 22 people at once, all of them first-rate detectives, no less, would hardly be the work of an amateur. I get the impression that he commits grisly deeds for the thrill of it, but otherwise, his identity is a complete mystery. We began our investigation at the research facility, but then the chief's D-pad received a message from a surviving Alliance member. Taki Detective draws out his own D-pad and plays an audio file, saying that the senior detective, some attacked research facility, all dead. Hiding in Gorman-Gas. Thief, meet there, help. The recording cuts off there. Although the sound was low and full of static, even I could grasp what it signified. That's Senior Detective's voice, isn't it? He's alive then, thank goodness. Yes, I'm certain that's him, making it through this situation unscathed. It's no wonder he's a legend among detectives. Is he really that incredible? You know the Dayless Night incident? It still shows up on the news. Not only did he solve it, he's also a founding member of the DA. I need to grab some. Hold on. The Dayless Night incident? Even school textbooks talk about this case, and you're saying he cracked it? I was a kid then, so I don't remember much, but it was the worst terror attack in national history, sparked by a new religious movement. This game does have English audio? What? No. I don't see the audio or the change for it, unless I don't have this updated. I was like, I've been playing this for so many hours. If it had English... Oh, you meant to say this game doesn't have English audio. Yeah, no, there's no English audio. It's all Japanese. I love the Japanese voice actors. It really is very challenging for me to stream this for long periods of time. From that event onward, criminal atrocities swept the nation, which is part of why the Detective Alliance was formed. Solving a case of that magnitude would absolutely qualify him as a legend. Originally, we'd split up from the other detectives and head to the manor, reconvene with Senior. It must be a villain, most foul, or even Sir Senior to be forced into hiding. We must hasten to his aid forthwith. Huh? You mean there are other detectives here besides you guys? For sure. There's, what, 6 more investigating the research facility? Like a Detective BOGO sale in there, Mayo. I don't quite get what she means by that, but I guess it is a lot of detectives. I'm still reeling from the heinous murders we have yet to unravel, but at least now there's a glimmer of hope. I believe we've searched every room, but there's no sign of Senior. Maybe the culprit arrived here before we did. Senior would have realized that and escaped. If the message was intercepted, the culprit could have easily gotten ahead of us. Oh yeah, I can see that happening. It took us, what, 10 minutes to get here? But there's only one path from the facility to here, and it's surrounded by sheer cliffs. No one could escape without us noticing. The detectives process the situation with impressive speed. I'm barely keeping up as I struggle to understand what it all means. Downtown's casual chit-chat is about the only thing that makes any sense to me. This room doesn't get wireless internet either. Why bother having a phone then? Ugh. This is such a major bummer. Even if there were a router here, I doubt it would do you any good. Oh yeah? Why? Because the island's off the grid? Not exactly. I tried connecting to a wired network in the research facility, but I couldn't get it to work at all. I made another attempt here at the manor a moment ago, but that failed too. The island's communications antenna must be down. But our D-pads can still link up to each other, right? What's the difference between that and our smartphone? Well, the D-pads have a unique communication system. Part of the R&D team, I must say, that's truly amazing tech. Basically, it works by... okay, we get it. So I can't even, chat with my followers while we're here? Ugh. Could this be any lamer? I prefer to see this as an opportunity for us fellow detectives to deepen the bonds of our camaraderie. Yes, it can. That scent, you gotta be kidding me. Rowdy detective starts crawling on all fours like a dog right at the entrance of the room. She presses her face to the carpet with a sharp expression on her face. What's wrong, Rowdy?
血の匂いだ。
Blood. I can smell it. Huh? Silence fills the room. The others all turn to look at Rowdy.
バラの匂いと絨毯の色で全然気づかなかったが
Nearly missed it thanks to the rosy smell and red carpet, but the floor's got blood on it, see? From the entrance to them flowers.
あの花瓶に向かってな。
Rowdy detective approaches an empty vase and sticks her hand in it, pulling out a bloody knife.
ビンゴだな。
Bingo.
誰の血だかは
Don't
知ら
know
ねえ
which
が
poor's mug
どうやら
sauce this
悪意あ
is,
る誰かさん
but
が
I'll tell you
館
one
に侵入
thing,
したことは
some
間違
goon
い
was on
な
the
いようだ
loose
ぜ。
in here.
どうして血の匂いなんて分か
How
ったん
did
で
you
す
even
か
notice the smell?
見る
The
からに
blood is
顔
already
切ってる。
dry.
俺はガキの頃か
Been
ら漁
hunting
師の
with
親
my
父を
old
手伝
man
ってた
since
か
I
ら
was
な。
little. I've got the nose of a bloodhound, eyes of a hawk, ears of a rabbit, and a raw macho spirit. I'm not so convinced that helping on hunting trips would give you those kind of abilities, but it's astonishing nonetheless. Rowdy, that knife wasn't used here, was it?
ああ
Yep,
この部屋には
nothing in this
血痕しか
room
残
but
ってねえ。
traces and stains. Guessing they only came by to hide the knife.
血の匂いを終えたらいいんだ
I
け
can
ど
track the scent, but the hall's chock full of roses. It ain't gonna be easy with them smelling up. Ah, I figured as much. With that said, Tech, might you have an alternative method?
もちろんです。その
Of
ための
course, I
科
go
学
by
です
this
から
alias for a reason after all. Techie Detective proudly pulls a cute little machine that resembles a puppy out from his pocket.
追跡遊具クンクン
This is my tracking forensic friend, Sniffy Whiffy.
僕と探偵同盟の協力で生み出されたこの遊具は
The Alliance helped me
ど
develop
こまで
him.
も追跡
He can
可能
tirelessly
な
trace
人命
down
救助
any
市場
scent
命
he
令とする
registers,
発明です
and his prime directive is to
さら
save
に
lives.
南西の小型コントローラー
Furthermore,
を採用したことで
he has small
動物
rubber
の激しい通
treads,
路であろうとも
cover
現場を
tricky
終わらせ
terrain without
時速
disturbing the
15
scene,
で
and
時速
can
な移
move
動が可能
15 kilometers an hour.
当然小型の発信機も搭載
He's
なので
also equipped with a
判定デバイスの画
transmitter,
面か
so
ら
you
リア
can
ルタイム
monitor
で
him
追
from a
跡可能
D-pad.
です
Plus,
そしてさらに
uses the same
イ
lithium-ion
宇宙ステーション
batteries
に
that the
採用されている
International Spa. Yes, that's all very impressive. We'd love to hear more about it later. But for now, why don't we start tracking? Oh, right. Sorry, I get a little carried away when I talk about my invention. Techie Detective returns to reality, hanging his head in shame. Now, let's not waste any time. Use this tool. He's not a tool, this is my
僕の
friend.
大切な友
Don't
達を
just
友
treat him
達
like
し
some
ないで
piece
くだ
of
さい
equipment. Workaholic Detective bows several times in apology for misspeaking. True to his name, he is the very picture of a harried office worker. Techie Detective may seem calm and collected, but careless remarks about his inventions are a clear sore spot of his. Better watch my words.
皆さん取り乱して申し訳ありません
Sorry everyone for blowing up like that. Let's get
血
tracking
液
that
の
scent.
匂いの追跡をは
Techie Detective calms down, setting his dog-like tracking machine, Sniffy Whiffy, loose near the bloodstain. Sniffy Whiffy scoots across the floor just like a real dog. He circles around a couple times, then thumps into the room's door.
追跡が始まりました
He's on the hunt. Let's
扉を
open the
開
door
い
and
て
see where he
先に
goes.
進んでもらいましょう
I open the door and Sniffy Whiffy darts out of the room, barreling down the hall towards the stairs. All I can pick up is roses, but must have zeroed in on the trail of blood. So I don't think we're gonna get to the detective part tonight. Like, my throat's already really sore. However, I am gonna take it to an exciting point before we end. All I can pick up is roses, but he must have zeroed in on the trail from the blood.
大
Huh?
したもん
How
だ
about
な
that? My nose wasn't getting jack
この
squat.
正確には匂いではなく
Strictly speaking, it's
空
not
気
the
中に
scent,
残留す
but
る
rather
物質を
the
追
air
跡しているん
particles
で
that
す
he tracks.
だから
Hence why he
他の
isn't
匂い
thrown
が
off
漂う
by
場所
other
であると
smells in the
惑わす
vicinity.
猟犬の鼻も型なしだね
So much for that whole nose of a bloodhound spiel.
うるせえ最初に気づいた
Can
の
it?
は
My nose
俺
is
の
what got
鼻
us
だろうが
this lead in the first place. Sniffy Whiffy stops at a painting just before the stairs to the entrance hall. Sir Sniffy has halted? Could this be the site of the stabbing?
バーカ
No tin for brains. I don't see a blood stain, do you? The knife must have been used somewhere else. Behind the painting. But behind it? Whatever could you mean? Is there a world within the painting? I think the stuff of children's fairy tales could actually exist. Relax, Armor. The answer is clear if you think it through logically. Workaholic touches the painting as he inspects the frame. He then gently taps the artwork before pressing his ear against it. Ah, no questions about it. There's a hollow space behind the painting. That if I shift it like this, still touching the painting, Workaholic Detective moves his hand. The entire wall around it slips back like a sliding door, revealing a hidden passage. Sniffy Whiffy, who had been waiting in place, begins moving again, right down the newly discovered path. How did you figure that out? Trade secret. You pick up a lot when you've been on the job as long as I have. Dang, Gramps, you've got me rethinking my take on you. No cap. I might even I don't know, kinda sorta respect you now. No cap, dog. No cap for reals. I think that's the first time I've ever seen no cap in a video game. I wish you wouldn't call me that. I'm still in my 20s, you know. Barely, but it still counts. Workaholic Detective turns red in the face as Downtown Detective slaps him on the behind. That blade was used somewhere up ahead. As we know not what may occur, I shall stand in the vanguard. What? Oh, wait up, bucko. It's wide enough for two, see? I'm taking the lead too, so keep your eyes peeled. Rowdy Detective tries to push forward, but is stopped by Doleful Detective. Actually, would you mind guarding the entrance with Techie and Downtown Rowdy? I think my abilities could come in handy. Armor and Doleful Detectives are to spearhead our foray into the secret passage, with me and Workaholic Detective following after. Rowdy, Downtown, and Techie Detective would remain at the entryway, acting as lookouts in case the tunnel is a trap. As for why I'm being brought along, it's probably because I won't be able to escape in this tunnel. I'm struck by the fact that Workaholic, the most experienced of the group, had deftly assumed a position beside me. These detectives don't miss a single beat. Alright, Armor and I will lead the way. As he speaks, Doleful and Armor Detective enter the tunnel together. Workaholic and I continue right behind them. The four of us descend down a spiral staircase that winds its way underground. At the bottom is a gloomy underground tunnel. We proceed into it using the light function on our D-pads to guide our way. The only sounds are our footsteps echoing in the tunnel, as well as Sniffy Whiffy's treads crawling across the floor ahead of us. The air is dusty and reeks of mold, making it hard to breathe. Clearly, this place is seldom used. My love of cleanliness aches to ventilate the place. Doleful Detective's eyes narrow as he travels the tunnel. His usual fearful countenance is tense, as if he's an entirely different person. Impressive, is it not? Doleful's intense concentration, that is. Workaholic Detective whispers to me as if he's reading my mind. Rank number 14, he solved over 100 cases and survived just as many bloody encounters as us veteran detectives. Over 100 cases solved? The idea alone leaves me speechless. He can't be that far apart in age, and yet his track record is on a whole other level. What sort of heroic life has this seemingly gentle boy led up to now? What did Doleful mean when he said his abilities could come in handy here? You'll see soon enough. He possesses what we in the Alliance would call the makings of a great detective. Doleful Detective stops in his tracks. Armor, stop! What happened, Sir Doleful? Your leg is bleeding. Armor shines his D-pad's light on the Doleful Detective's leg, revealing a trail of blood beneath the knee. Something reflects in the light just ahead of them. Huh? There's something at your feet. My guess is that it's a trap to ward off intruders. Judging by the texture, must be some kind of wire. He's right. When I get close to the reflection, I see red dripping off an extremely fine wire. It was so razor thin and difficult to see that were it not for the blood, it would have been nearly imperceptible even in direct light. This is the wire saw the Detective Alliance is currently developing. Well, why would the Alliance make something like this? For cutting locks to enter sealed rooms, or as a means of escape when restrained. Word is that it requires specialty gloves to handle. Best to avoid touching it, giving its intended use. It's so sharp that with enough pressure, it can cut straight through human flesh. A good thing I noticed it then. Yes. Workaholic Detective produces medication, bandages from his pocket, and begins applying first aid to Doleful Detective's leg. This is a rather nasty cut, but you're lucky to get off this lightly. Anyone else would have been liable to lose a leg in your position. Situations like this are about the only time my special skills end up useful. Special skill? What do you mean by that? For some reason, Doleful Detective struggles to reply. Workaholic steps in to answer on his behalf. Doleful is a danger magnet with a knack for close calls. From traps to wanted criminals, finding murder scenes and even evidence. His innate intuition and powers of insight are what have allowed him to fortunate circumstances. So that's how he has the makings of a great detective? In stories, detectives are always expected to survive, even when wrapped up in personal case, and even when their life is on the line. Now I'm standing in front of a real-life detective who embodies that very trope. It's not that impressive. In fact, I'd say I just bring misfortune to everyone and everything around me. It's kind of a miserable existence. Doleful Detective's expression flickers as he touches a bandage on his wrist. Countless traces of medical attention covering his body shows just how much suffering he's constantly endured. Still, it made me more sensitive to threats than the average person. I can always sense when I'm in danger, so just think of me as your shield. I see the resolve within Doleful Detective's eyes as he speaks. He and I may look similar. I might even be the older one. But nothing in me competes with that look. We couldn't be farther apart. Sir Doleful, you needn't be so reserved. Armor Detective abruptly steps forward. He then swings his arm up before bringing it down to chop the wire before us. Armor Detective, that wire can cut steel. Just because you're wearing protective covering doesn't mean... Fear not, the suit in which I'm clad in is a product of my family's long-held secrets. Behold the strongest armor known to man. The wire parts with ease. Sure enough, Armor Detective doesn't have a single scratch on him. Both Doleful and Workaholic widen their eyes in incredulity. No matter the trap, mine armor shall prevail. Set your minds at ease and allow me to take the lead. But putting me in front of you will minimize the total risk for our team as a whole. I can't stand idly while my companions are hurt. Despite my inadequacies, I hastened here to be an aegis for all of you. Armor Detective speaks with a calmness that eases Doleful Detective's taut expression. Despite the latter's brave front, might have been nearing his limit. Thank you, Armor. In that case, I'll stay back a bit and keep an eye out. Armor Detective takes the lead as Doleful acts as a lookout behind him. Armor, I can sense a threat right in front of me, about head height. Another wire, Understood. Without a second thought, Armor Detective swings his hand towards the arena, or the area Doleful Detective indicated. Chop, chop, chop. Sometimes Doleful's warnings come too late, and Armor runs into a wire, but even then, it never leaves a mark. We continue safely through the darkness, until... Based on the signal, the tracker is stopped 5 meters ahead. It would seem we've arrived at the scene where the knife was used. We finally make it to the end of the tunnel with 0 injuries, save for doleful detective, of course. Sniffy Whiffy is parked right in front of a steel door. It means the bloody knife we found earlier must have been used right behind it. Hate to ask, Armor, but would you mind taking point? No need to apologize, Sir Workaholic. My armor exists for the very moments I must forge such paths. And yet, Armor Detective looks tense as he cautiously touches the doorknob. Goosebumps ripple across my body. Deep down, I get the overwhelming urge to scream, "Don't open it!" It's as if my mind somehow knows that what we're about to see is truly horrific. I have an extremely bad feeling about this. I shall open the door on the count of 3. 1, 2. Doorknob makes a click as it turns. My heart rate leaps. Can't bring myself to look. There! Or 3! A blinding light flashes as the door opens, forcing me to avert my eyes. On top of that, a metallic stench envelops me. The way it sticks to my throat makes me cough. However, none of the other detectives show even a hint of fear as they proceed beyond the door. I hurry to follow them, but at that moment, doleful detective's cry echoes out. As I step into the room, the first thing I see is the ground dyed in crimson. The red spreads across so much of the floor that at first I mistake it for a carpet pattern, but there's no way that's the case. Despite my hateful disbelief, the smell filling the air tells me that this is blood. With each breath, the metallic stench fills my lungs, my stomach, my whole body. I'm assailed by an overwhelming urge to vomit. If I lose focus for even a moment, I know I'll wind up spilling my guts out. Upon closer inspection, I notice something floating in the ocean of gore. It's large and reminds me of a caterpillar. 4 other long, thin objects surround it. In a way, they resemble a quartet of lifeboats, all rowing in different directions away from a sinking ship. But in truth, they're all human limbs, scattered about across the floor. Before us is a scene devoid of life. A man whose name I don't know gazes at me, his head half submerged in a sanguine sea. My eyes are transfixed as I stand there in a daze. There's a biting chill as if the temperature has dropped by quite a few degrees. My hands and legs tremble. I can barely stand. Every ounce of strength leaves my body, which no longer feels like my own. I muster up all the willpower I can, only to topple over on the spot. Is this all just a bad dream? First crime scene, huh? I know it's hard to take in, but try not to look away. Without any concern to spare for me, Workaholic walks out towards the pool of blood. Doleful. Armor, head back up and fetch the other 3 detectives. After that, I'd like you to ask the chief to come to the manor. Sums up the heart of the matter in a low voice. It's a homicide. Someone has murdered senior detective. Regardless of how detached he remains while objectively stating fact, it doesn't change the reality we're facing. A middle-aged man's corpse lies dismembered, his limbs strewn across the room we stand in. For the first time in my life, I am confronted with a murder scene. Chapter 1. The Case of the Dismembered Detective. Alright, everybody. I know that this is not the best moment to stop at because everything got kind of cool from here. Shortly after this, there is like kind of a detective gameplay element that they have in the game. This is not just a pure visual novel. When I was first playing this, I really wondered about it. John says, so much blood! Yes, this game is very gory. I mean, obviously, it's about a really deranged serial killer. There's a ton of twists and turns in this game. It is outstanding. I have really been liking this game. And as I said before, I did not do a review because I'm actually deciding that on this case, I want to complete this game so I have a full and total idea of everything that kind of happens. It always kind of keeps you on your feet. I am constantly changing how I feel about the game. It gets better and better the more I play, the more twists and turns that I discover. It is very cleverly written from what I've played so far, and I'm expecting that to continue through. If you guys like the content, remember to hit the thumbs up. It does help us out a ton. If you want to see more anime news, reviews, and gaming, feel free to subscribe to us. If not, that's okay. I just kind of appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out with me. We're going to try to start streaming a little bit more again. We've been remiss to do it because of life stuff going on. And I also have a lot more videos coming up too. Tomorrow, we're hopefully going to get out a video about our merch that we picked up at SakuraCon. Sometime next week, I had an issue with the memory card, so I'm hoping that the Data Recovery Center is going to be able to recover some of that. We got to interview Richard Epcar, and we recorded a ton of stuff at SakuraCon. Really exciting coverage. So I'm hoping that works out for us. If not, we'll have a bunch of other stuff. I got a weekly news video thing that I'm working on as well. We're gonna see Mario tomorrow, the Mario movie. We're gonna take the kid to that. You guys probably don't want to see a video of me on that, but I'll let you guys know in the Discord or whatever. I want to thank you all. John says I got One Punch Man Season 2 Blu-ray from Woomo. Oh my god, nice. That's awesome. I haven't really got too far into one. Hoping too soon. Anyway, with that, we're going to leave it off, and I hope everybody has a fantastic night. Hopefully we'll be able to do a Splatoon stream this weekend again and get back into our weekly Splatooning. That's always a lot of fun. If you have a good one, catch you on the next one.
キラークイーン第3の爆弾バイツァーダスト